The King of Clay reigns supreme in Paris. 10 finals, 10 titles. Rafa Nadal, 2017 French Open champion. He did it without dropping a set as he swept aside Stan Wawrinka in just over 2 hours. It was for Grand Slam title number 15, number 53 on clay, and as of Monday, Rafa Nadal will be the new world number 2. Incredible scenes. Congratulations to Rafa Nadal, who's actually just walked by us below our studio as he does the rounds speaking to the press. It's title number 10 in his 10th final here in Paris. It's an incredible achievement. And coming up over the next half an hour or so in our final show here with Live at Roland-Garros, we will have reaction from those involved and a recap on the match. We'd love you to get in touch with us. Hashtag RG17. Keep those coming in. It's been great to get your thoughts and feelings throughout the tournament. So please keep those coming in. Alongside me in the studio this evening, Nick and Camille. How are you both? A hot, sunny evening to finish off.
Yeah, it's our last day, but it's been an amazing week when we see the women's draw, the men's draw. I mean, we had a lot of emotion. We're going to talk about it. But I had fun, you know, being with all of you guys. And I'm going to be sad tonight.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and you've still got 1 hour to persuade Camille to get on social media.
Yeah, I'm trying to get Camille on social media. Hashtag get Camille on social media. That's a short hashtag. But we started the tournament on a couple hot days. We're ending it on a couple hot days. And wow, Rafael Nadal was blazing hot today. He really is the king of clay. We've all lost words. We've been trying to find them all tournament long. I'm still at a loss for them.
Okay, so you two are going to have a little bit of time now to think of a few more, because we're going to go straight to Eli. Because Eli, well, you're in the place to be, in the place to have been over the last half an hour or so, because you're in the Players' Lounge. How are things?
Things are great. Things are toning down a little bit. There are 3 things really that I want to say. First of all, there's a lot of drinking, some to celebrate, some to drown their sorrow. Then there's a lot of Spanish being heard around the grounds. It's a little bit like the Spanish embassy here. And the third thing is the word that you weren't allowed to really say during the whole tournament is now totally officially allowed. The decima, the big 10. Everybody's wearing here a T-shirt with a big X on the back, meaning the 10 in Roman numerals. A special T-shirt that was made out for this moment. So there are mixed feelings in here, but it's a nice place to be.
Eli, I didn't know we couldn't say that. I've been saying that an awful lot over the last couple of weeks.
Well, we couldn't say, you could say it, but not to the Nadal clan, definitely. That was like saying, you know, in Harry Potter, the one you can't say his name. Well, the decima was a bit that was a bit the feeling here.
It must have been crazy busy, because you were there as the final ball was struck. He was the champion. What was it like in terms of the people moving around you and the press trying to get down and to get a word about Nadal?
It was completely mad, okay? And basically the place was swamped with Spanish press. They put, I don't know if Philippe can show this barrier here that the journalists were standing behind. And it's just slowly moved forward and forward and forward. And Tony Nadal was walking back and back. Like, so. But, I mean, it was all gone in a good mood, and Tony Nadal just went through interview after interview after interview. Magnus Norman, we haven't seen yet. We think he may have left discreetly. We're hoping. We're going to keep our fingers crossed. We're going to stay right here, and if he comes by, I guarantee you we'll get him on this mic.
If anyone can do that, you can, Eli. So stay where you are, see what you can get. We are, guys, going to be hearing from Uncle Tony and Carlos Moya a little bit later. But as Eli said, officially we can now talk about La Decima. It's incredible. The 3rd time this year he's achieved 10 titles at a tournament. Monte Carlo, Barcelona, and now Roland-Garros.
Yeah, it's amazing, and I think we have to remember from the past years, everybody was saying maybe his best moments are behind.
Yes.
You know, and he just kept, you know, fighting, trying to find his best level, and he's better now than before. So he has to maybe now be proud of himself, because he went through, I think, difficult moments, hearing all this kind of thing, and I'm really proud of him, you know.
And there was a wonderful moment after he'd lifted the trophy that, Nick, they presented him with a replica of the Coupe de Musketeer presented by his Uncle Tony that he's allowed to keep forever.
Yes, well, that was a special moment, seeing Uncle Tony out on court. And Rafa, I think, made his first mistake of the tournament, almost dropping the replica trophy. We see this here on the screen. But to me, Camille, the impressive thing was not just that Rafa wins, La Decima wins number 10, but the way that he did it, he didn't drop a set. He lost only 35 games in 7 matches. There's the almost drop. Good save, Rafa. He's been on form. Wouldn't commit his first unforced error of the tournament there. But 35 games over 7 matches. I mean, Borg dropped 32 in 78. Rafa had dropped 41 in 08. It's just literally the wow factor keeps growing for all of us.
Yeah, I think he was focused from the very beginning till the end, and now, I mean, he knew he was feeling great, but he didn't, you know, like he kept the focus until the end, and that's why you have those kinds of statistics.
And that's why he's Rafa.
Well, it's incredible. I think we should remind ourselves of the story of the game. There might be some people joining us who missed a part of that match. And Camille, I think you summed it up there. It was just the focus of Rafa. We knew that Stan Wawrinka would have to play the match of his life to beat Nadal on Philippe Chatrier in the final of the French Open when he wanted title number 10. But Nadal knew what he wanted from the very first ball.
Yeah, he knew how to play against Stan. He played with a lot of spin, so Stan Wawrinka couldn't hit a ball, you know, at the hip level. Every time he had to hit at the shoulder, and he's not that powerful when he plays that high. And we could see that Rafa was putting a lot of energy, a lot of spin, in order to be like in the court and to keep Stan forward, back. Behind the baseline, and I think that's why the score is like that, because when Stan is in the court, he can hit strong, and that was the point, I think, from this match. He prepared this match with Tony, and it worked very well.
Yeah, he really did, Camille, and it was early going actually here that Rafael Nadal serving faced his only break point of the entire day. And we talk about the Rafa forehand so much, Camille, but the serve worked really well for him today. He served at 65% first serves in, and then won 83% of those first serve balls. So it was about placement, getting Stan sort of out of his comfort zone, and then attacking with the forehand. And who would have thought that that first early break point that he faced, that was the only sort of danger moment he faced all day. And then it was one-way traffic. It was freight train Nadal.
Yeah, and also returning, you know, he has been so good. Stan Wawrinka just won one out of 2, you know, when he was serving first serve, and that's a great stat for Rafa Nadal returning, because the first serve of Stan Wawrinka is very impressive. He's strong, he hits strongly, and I think this is also a sign of improvement from Rafa Nadal. So why is he playing his best tennis even better than before? He goes to the net more often. We could see that on this match, like he has somebody really powerful, and he had the courage, he was brave to come to the net, to put pressure on Stan Wawrinka, and this is new. Rafa Nadal, normally he's just a bit like back on the baseline. So these are improvements important to think why is he better right now.
He had spent 5 hours less on court than Stan Wawrinka, and yes, there was the retirement of Pablo Carreño Busta. He was asked in a press conference, it's unbelievable some of the questions. You may not have spent enough time on court, so you might be going into the final a little bit undercooked because you haven't played enough. He said, you have to be kidding me. If I'd spent all these hours on court, you'd say I was too tired. And it was something that Stan Wawrinka was asked as well. That 4.5, 5-setter against Andy Murray, did it take it out the legs? He said, look, no excuses. It wasn't that. Nothing I could do today could get past Rafa Nadal.
Yeah, that's good, because to find explanation or excuses, no, it was just he was better. That was Stan said in press conference, because he was better. He was moving like better than what he used to do. I mean, he was really fast. When he used to play a bit maybe with less depth, you know, when he was playing short, he couldn't move that well. So he was not the great Nadal. He's the great Nadal because he plays deep. He moves like really how do you say, somebody who just doesn't think he has to run. He just runs, you know, without any effort. So that's the feeling I have, and I think he's just feeling so strong, so confident because of that.
Well, and we've been saying all tournament long that Stan Wawrinka was perhaps the one guy that could challenge Rafael Nadal, but there was the danger that Stan Wawrinka would come out a little bit flat, and that's what happened today. It just wasn't the true Stan that we've seen in Grand Slam finals before. He was 3-0 in finals coming into this match, but I do think Stan's not going to make up excuses. He said that Rafa's playing his best ever on clay. Stan also said he felt like he didn't play his best, but I think that match against Andy Murray did take it out of him. And I think the 5 more, that's 50% more, 5 more hours on court than Rafael Nadal. How does that not play a factor? As Camille's pointing out, Rafa's everywhere. he's not going to let any ball past him, and that definitely played a factor for me today.
Yeah,
in
I
this
believe
match.
it's more like a mental, because that's what he said in press conference. It's physically, well, maybe against Murray it was tough, but mentally he had to focus time to play his best tennis. He was 100%, and arriving against Rafa Nadal, he needed to be 130%,
Yes,
and he
100
couldn't
plus.
make it.
Right.
And Rafa was still like 80%, and he could play better on this final. So that was the difference, and that's why he said, no, I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Because it's as much a mental as a physical battle when you face Rafa Nadal, especially on these courts.
Yeah, it's mental, and Rafa, he just holds everything. He just he's close to the score. He never leave 3 games like this because he's out of his mind or he's pissed. He's always there. So the opponents they know that. So they enter the court knowing they have to be focused from the beginning till the end. And Stan said that mentally he was a bit tired from Geneva, the first rounds here in French Open. So he got there maybe a bit tired mentally, and that's why the score is that tough for him.
And so Rafa Nadal passes Pete Sampras for second on the men's singles Grand Slam title list, and he's just the 3rd man to win a Grand Slam as a teenager, in his 20s and in his 30s, behind Ken Rosewall and Pete Sampras. You could just go on, Nick, in terms of the records that keep tumbling with Rafa Nadal around.
Yeah, you really could. What Rafa has achieved, not only at this tournament, but at all 4 of the slams. We sometimes forget that he's been so great around the world. But Camille pointed this out earlier too, and there's a lot of people that wrote Rafa off in the last couple of years. His knee issues, his health, where was he as far as where his tennis would take him? But he never lost that heart. And that's the heart that has helped him to these 15 Grand Slams, and it's also the heart that makes him so hard to get any ball past.
How good is the Rafa of 2017? Compared to the Rafas of other years, where do you put this Rafa?
I mean, right up there. I would say. I mean, right up there. Look at the serve, look at the forehand, the movement, nothing's gone. And the mental fortitude, how he attacks every point. There's just no faulting him, say, from 2005, 8, 10. He's still there. He's still Rafa.
Yeah, the first year he won this tournament. I mean, with his backhand, he was just putting the ball in the court, waiting to turn around and have his forehand winner, And now he just go for the backhand down the line, making winners, coming to the net, little drop shot volley. I mean, he improved a lot. Maybe, you cannot really imagine, but he worked a lot on these tactic points, to get better. And now he has everything. Yeah. And that's why he's just the best on clay.
And he's worked a lot, and he's got better under the guidance of new coach Carlos Moya. Alongside him in the box, Uncle Tony, and we can hear from them both now.
It's amazing what he's done, and very, very happy. We've been enjoying this tournament. Every match was better than the one before, so I think it's been a perfect tournament for us.
What was your feeling during the match? Did you see it coming? Was it getting better and better? How did you?
Yeah, I think both started pretty nervous, I believe. First 5-6 games, a lot of mistakes from both sides. But then after he broke Stan's serve 4-2, then since then he started to play really well. So I think, we could not predict such a score today. Obviously, we trusted Rafa a lot, but I didn't expect that he was going to win this way.
Can you tell me what you were thinking when you were on the podium?
No, I haven't thinking not too much. I thought only with the trophy, I thought only with the victory, and with this new title of Rafael. This was my thinking, not of I was there or what I represent. No, I was very happy because Rafael was the champion, Roland-Garros champion in 2017. For me, it's unbelievable.
No nostalgia? You were not thinking back when you saw the movie?
Yes, nostalgia because I prefer so much more to be young. But happy. We are lucky in this life because we receive so much more. Never. I thought that many of you can win 10 times here in Roland-Garros. It's unbelievable.
Is this the last? Is this the last time we see you as the coach, or will you be back also?
No, it's the last coach, but I hope I can see more times my nephew playing here.
Congratulations, fantastic.
I'm sure he will. Let's start with Uncle Tony. Can
Should
we
be
together?
invited for
Yes.
the next one.
I think he might be invited
Maybe.
along. But together with his nephew, they've won 15 Grand Slam titles. It's one of the most enduring relationships in tennis, but it will come to an end in terms of being in his box at the end of this year.
Yeah, I think what they've done together is such a great story from the very beginning. How emotional he should have been, you know, on this stage. Tony just reminding himself of all he has done since he's a kid and what they achieved together. So, but I think at what point it has to stop because maybe he's tired to travel as well. Tony, it's really tough to be, even if it's Nadal's coach, which is the best, but it's tough to travel. So maybe he's a bit tired and he thinks that he achieved, you know, a lot with him. And now it's time for Carlos Moya, who has always been a very good friend, close to the team, to just start again. You know, something for the maybe a couple of years. We never know how long he's going to play, but he's not done, definitely.
He's definitely done. He'll be working in the Rafa Nadal Academy back in Mallorca. And Nick, we were joined by Antonio Arenas,
Yes.
who works for Spanish Eurosport on the show earlier this week. And he said people, I think, underestimate the impact that Carlos Moya has had on the Nadal game.
Yeah, well, it's Rafa and Tony's 15th major, but it's actually the first major for Team Nadal with Carlos Moya. I mean, they lost that Australian Open final. And I was down there with Eli in the player lounge. And just the feeling when Carlos Moya walked in, it was pretty special. And he was being greeted by some Spanish friends, and I'm sure friends of the camp. And to see him in that moment, I think that this is the beginning of a long-lasting relationship for the two of them. He came in December when Tony sort of dropped that bomb on all of us that he wasn't going to coach Rafa
Even
after.
on his nephew.
Yes, exactly. Surprised Rafa. But this is the last year that Tony will be on the road. But for what Carlos has done, as Antonio has pointed out, it's magic. And for them, I think it solidifies the relationship, this win here. And I think that it'll be long-lasting.
So we've heard from Uncle Tony, we've heard from Carlos Moya. I think it's about time we heard from the man who won his 10th Roland-Garros title. And this is what he had to say when he had collected the trophy out in the middle of Philippe Chatrier.
First of all, Stan, many congratulations for unbelievable career. No, last couple of years have been very, very amazing for you and for all your team. So well done. Sorry for today, but you did an unbelievable 2 weeks, and you are doing a great year. I wish you all the best for the rest of the year. Keep going. Well, it's difficult to talk today, but the only thing that I can say is thank you. Thank you very much to all the people who organized the event, the president of the federation, merci beaucoup pour tous. No, Guy Forget, thank you very much for all the things that you are doing for all the players since a long time. So well done. All the persons who make possible this unbelievable event, all the volunteers, security, ball boys, lines, all the girls from the reception that I don't want to say all the names, but all the girls that are there. For me, just be here, around here for such a lot of years is something difficult to describe. Now, every time that I come back here and I see a lot of people that I have a lot of good relationship with them is very, very special. That's why for me it's difficult to compare this tournament with another one. So just many thanks, everybody, for everything. Gonna be always in my heart. Well, thank you very much to all the people who is there, my friends, my family, my team, all the people who came from all around and from Spain for that final. For me, it means a lot. Have all the people that not all, but a lot of people that I love here, and especially that my uncle that is here with me. That since 3 years old, we were working a lot and. Without him, have 10 trophies with me, and no one will be impossible. So just many, many thanks for everything. And last thing, for me, playing in this court and in front of all of you, feel the support of you guys here in the people that I really love more than no one other is just unbelievable. So merci beaucoup pour le soutien. C'est incroyable pour moi de sentir le soutien de tous. Merci et à la prochaine. À la prochaine. Merci.
We ended on a little bit of French, and earlier when he carried out an initial interview on court, he spoke French, and he said, I'm a little bit too emotional to speak French, so I've got to switch to English. Now, during that speech, he mentioned Guy Forget, so this is the perfect time to get the thoughts of the tournament director, who a little bit earlier spoke with Nick.
Guy Forget, an absolutely dominating performance from Rafael Nadal. How do you put into words what we saw the King of Clay do here at this tournament?
Well, it's very hard to put words on what Rafa has achieved, especially in English, but I'll try. I think emotionally it was very, very strong. Everybody was expecting maybe a 10th win, but he did it in such manner, with grace, with humility, and it was very touching to see him at the end with Tony, who was there with him since the beginning, since day one, winning the small, I guess, junior tournaments, being there today for his 10th win here at Roland-Garros. I think no one thought it could be possible in modern tennis to win 10 times, you know, on one Grand Slam. You know, he did it, and he probably will be coming back next year again, and everyone will say, hey, how about 11? You know, so that's how good he is, and he's worked so hard to be back, because he was kind of struggling for the last 3 years. He went through a lot of injuries, but every time, you know, I was watching him playing, he had this fire within himself to give his best day after day after day. And to be honest, today I think he'll be one of the favorites to step into Wimbledon.
And how do you encapsulate the men's event overall? Obviously, we were missing Roger Federer, but we really made up for it, I think, seeing another breakthrough from Dominic Thiem, seeing Stan Wawrinka get back into the final, but once again, Rafael Nadal emerges the champion.
Well, you know, we've talked a lot about the new generation that's on its way. I mean, so many of these guys are talented, and they will, you know, dominate the game really soon. But for now, you know, they still seem at time a little green, you know, they need a bit more time. And when you see the experience that Rafa has, even someone like Stan, you know, when he got to 2 sets all again in the semis against Murray, you know, he managed to pull the win against the #1 in the world, you know, in great fashion. So, you know, you can still be 30, 31, 32, even 35, you know, looking at Roger and be the best in the world.
All right, thank you very much, Guy.
Sure, welcome.
It's great that Guy ended talking about the age of the players, because it's something we would talk about coming into this tournament, especially, Nick, on the men's side of the draw. The number of players getting into the latter stage of tournaments, winning titles, over 30.
Yeah, and this was the first time, I think, since 1969 that we had 2 men over the age of 30 in this final. And that's the trend, right, in men's and women's tennis. And it lets us sort of feel as though we're connected to the stars more and more because we know their stories more. I love it.
But on the flip side of things, Camille, we've got the next gen who are coming through. They're saying, look, okay, it might not be quite our time yet, but we are here.
Yeah, we could see that with the women's draw, you know, with the young girl, but we kind of surprised because we used to, you know, seeing over 30 girls and guys, because they're fit and they know better how they have to play tennis. They know themselves better, and I think it counts a lot, and that's why there's a lot of 30 people in the top 100 because of that. Before, maybe with injury, it was tough to keep going. Now the physical preparation is better. They have physios, you know, all this, and I think now the 30s are very tough to beat. But Ostapenko showed the way.
And also, Guy Forget is the first person to utter, at least to me, the word 11. Rafael Nadal and the chase for 11.
Wow, we're starting talking about that already.
It starts now. Of course it does. Of course it does.
Wow, okay. So maybe we'll talk about 11 a little bit later in the show. I think it's time now to hear from and then speak about the guy who couldn't do it today. He had such a good tournament, winning Geneva and a 10-match winning run, coming into this final against Rafa Nadal. Disappointing for Stan Wawrinka. We saw that on his face at that trophy presentation. Fairly soon after they'd left the court, he came into press, and here for you just a little bit of what he had to say.
For sure, against him, especially if you're not completely free with what you're doing, you don't want him to take the lead and start to play even more aggressive and more free. But again, at the end of the day, it was 3 sets. Nothing to say. there's many things I can talk about the game, about what I did, about what he was doing, about that I should have done or tried differently. But at the end of the day, I think it's quite clear the score.
We just used that little bit, Camille, because that pretty much summed the whole thing up. He said it was 3 sets and that was it.
Yeah, he felt that he couldn't overpower him today, and I think he was just disappointed not being able to play. Usually he's a great player in those moments in Grand Slam, and he's been disappointed he couldn't make it this time because he was expecting another level. But of course, Rafa Nadal, he said he put him some doubt in his head, and with the type of game he has, he cannot doubt. He has to go for the down the line. He has to go for the serve, and as soon as he thinks, okay, where am I going to play? He's everywhere. He's not the same player.
Yeah, and you also think, you know, oftentimes with Stan Wawrinka, he's going to create that magic. He's going to come with that backhand down the line or something to get him out of trouble. But only 19 winners today, 29 unforced errors. He just didn't have the tennis that he wanted in the moments that he needed it. And especially it just felt like Rafa was building off of each game, each point, and Stan was just continuously treading water and slowly got drowned out by Rafa.
I mean, the amount of times he hit his head with his tennis racket, and it was quite forceful at times. And he was asked about that in his press conference. He said, because I didn't know what to do, I needed to think of something. It's almost like he was trying to knock some sense or an alternative game plan into his head.
Yeah, that's the feeling. He was very frustrated not being able to have a solution in his game. I mean, usually he has his power, at least, even to hit hard in the middle of the court if he makes mistakes. And today, if he was playing, trying to put the ball in the court, it was not possible to win this match against Rafa. If he wanted to go for winners, he would do a lot of mistakes. So he was trapped, in this situation, and just to hit his head was like the only option. But I think it's not very good for the injury. He could use knee once hit
Right.
with a racket, and he got a big injury. So it's not a very good idea. Yeah.
Well, and I think it's interesting too because we've seen Stan use that point to the head so much when he wins a big match, right? It's my head. It's all in the head. And today the mental part of it was not working. It wasn't.
And we see there the ball I was quite impressed, the fact he fit a whole tennis ball in his mouth. But I mean, can we just seeing the frustration, seeing the shoulders drop, he was the one man that could have done something against Rafa Nadal, but today it was just impossible.
Yeah, it was impossible, and he didn't, do that much winners than usually, and I think it's tough for him to see that the part of his game usually he's strong, he can count on it, and today he didn't have it. So I think he felt really like frustrated and under power as he is usually.
There's a lot of frustration out there as Rafa Nadal straight sets win for his 10th Roland-Garros title. If you can hear some cheering behind me, Rafa Nadal is doing some of the press rounds at the moment. There's been a hardcore group of fans waiting for him to finish his interview. There he is. I believe he has finished his interview. He's now walking out behind us. There'll be a lot more that Rafa Nadal has to do before he can finally sit down, give his cup a little cuddle and think, yes, I have achieved La Decima. Now, for you, what we wanted to do, especially from week number 2, is put together some of the best bits, some of the moments on court that we've experienced and that we've enjoyed, and now it's time for you to enjoy them.
He was just getting better and better and more confident as the match progressed, and he deserved to win. He was, definitely a better player on the court today.
I don't think I did really something wrong out there, I just think it went to her side.
to thank my team, my mom, of course, who was always helping me, all my friends, and everyone who came here to support me. Thanks a lot.
So there were some moments from week 2. If you'd like to see the 2 weeks together, then make sure you go to RolandGarros.com. There's also the Roland Garros YouTube page. You can see some fantastic videos from over the course of the 2 weeks. Now, though, it's just coming to an end, our time together. So we want to go back to Eli. Eli, what's been going on down there?
Sorry, Gigi, I missed that.
What's been happening in the Players' Lounge? Still lots going on? Has it gone a little bit quiet? Who have you
It's
seen?
slowly toning down. I just saw a guy who just lost the final here. He's Swiss. He seemed a bit sad, but he still came out to say hi to his friends and family that are waiting for him. It was a very brief in and out, and he's gone again now. So really, I think that within the next 20 minutes, this place is shutting down.
Yeah, that's a tough thing, but there'll be a lot of people who will come out and say, thank you for coming, thank you for being here. Now, Eli, our time together is coming to a close, but I would like, before we go, your moment of the tournament. It might have been just being with us, and that's very special, and we'll take that, or it might be something else.
Yeah, well, of course, it was being with you guys. I had a great time. If I have to pick up one moment of this tournament, it's when Tony came onto the podium. For me, it was a very moving moment. I felt that there was a lot of emotion right there. Tony had some tears, and you felt the connection between the uncle and the nephew. And I felt that was very, very strong. And I think the tournament did a great job to celebrate the Decima in a very classy way. And for me, that's what stands out.
So not Nick singing Happy Birthday to Kim Clijsters?
No, please no.
That comes in... Yeah, a bit lower.
Dead last. Dead last, Eli.
Eli, thank you very much for everything.
See you guys. Thanks for everything. And thank you to everybody behind, under us, on the machines that are supporting us. Great job by everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Nick, your moment of the tournament was?
Well, I mean, I just thought it was out of this world that Jelena Ostapenko did what she did throughout this tournament, and watching her finish the tournament the way that she did, hitting 299 winners, her first title. That's crazy. Her first title comes at a Grand Slam. It was the moment for me.
Camille?
Yeah, actually, I had the same because I cried.
You cried?
Yes, I
Did
cried
you?
when she made the winner. Like, hey, this young girl is just having her dream, and she goes for it. She has no fear, and she must be so proud. And I was crying. Otherwise, I had a very good moment on the team win over Djokovic. I was really, really happy for him because he's a great guy. I like this guy, this young guy, that we're gonna see him, for ages, and to achieve something strong in this French Open.
And I think for me it was Petra Kvitova returning and then winning that first match. Such a horrific ordeal that she went through. She didn't know she'd play tennis again. She was here. She was smiling. She was happy. She was positive.
Yes.
She's back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved that. And I also thought this was a tournament of heart. We saw Del Potro and Almagro. We saw Zabayoth do that. Steve Johnson and Borna Coric. There was a lot of heart out there, and I loved that here.
Yeah, a lot of emotion, yeah.
Camille, thank you. Camille
Thank
will not
you,
be on
Gigi.
social media anytime soon. Nick will not be singing
Yes,
anytime
well,
soon.
yes.
But thank you so much for your
Thank you,
company.
guys.
Thank you, Gigi.
So
Yeah.
for the final time, we say thank you very much. We've enjoyed every minute. I hope you have too. And to echo what Eli said, thank you to everybody that's worked on this show. We have had such a good time, and we hope we'll be back with you in the future. Your 2017 French Open champions are Jelena Ostapenko and Rafa Nadal. And we're going to leave you this evening for the final time with the King of Clay. Bye for now.
L'Espagnol Rafael Nadal.
de match. Jeu 7 match, Nadal.
Jeu, c'est le match, Nadal.
I have to retire from the tournament because I have a problem in my wrist.
Jeu 7 match, Nadal. 6-1, 6-2, 6-2.